What's going on? I am prepping to go down into the Grand Canyon and want to go over some things that gear-wise and pre-trip-wise that you need to prepare for to get down into the Grand Canyon. And I'm going to try to break this up into chapters down in the description. So I'm going to go over what you need as far as permits, planning out your trip and all that, gear, my cook set, everything that I'm going to take down, and I'll just break that all up. So first thing, prepping to get down, prepping to prep, right? So you got to get here first, and you have to have a permit to backpack into or primitive camp in the canyon. Now you can go down there and day hike all you want without a permit, but if you're going to stay overnight, which is usually, they recommend if you're going to go to the Colorado River and back, you should do it in at least 2 days. In the winter, it's not as warm down there, but it's still warmer than it is up on the rim. And the inclines, even on the Bright Angel Trail, are, I mean, you're going down 4,000 feet. That's a lot of elevation to make back up. But you also need a permit, which I have right here. I've got my permit. I'll cover the permit number, but you get a backcountry permit. You get that from the park itself. Now, since this was a not a very well planned trip, like I didn't plan this months and months in advance. I knew I was coming out here. I didn't know when, and I just came out. I didn't have a permit in hand when I got here, so I wasn't even sure I was going to make it down to the canyon. Now, you can go to the backcountry office, which currently during COVID is closed, but you can email them when you get here if you want to try to get down there. And basically, you get here, you email them, and you tell them, this is what I want to do, and this is where I'd like to stay. And then they'll get back in touch with you and let you know if that's possible. I wasn't picky. I didn't care if I camped down at the very bottom or if I had to camp part way up. As long as I was close and I could day hike down there, I was okay. So I told them, look, I'm going to go down Bright Angel, come back Bright Angel, and I don't care where I stay. I want to do it 3 days, 2 nights. And he got back in touch with me and said, we got a spot open for 2 nights at Indian Garden. I said, I'll take it. So that's what my permit's for. Now, when you're down in the canyon, you've got to have your permit with you. So when you're backpacking down there, you got to have your permit. When you're at camp, you got to leave your permit at camp with your tent. So what I did is I printed up 3 copies of mine. I'm going to have one with me all the time, one at camp all the time, and one as a spare just in case something happens to one of them. I always, I'll have an extra one with me. So I'm going to put these in Ziploc bags, and then I'm just going to hang one for my tent, hang one for my backpack, or have it with my backpack, and then one just stowed away just in case. You got to sign this, and the permit's not free. You still pay to get into the park. I paid $26. This is January 2021, so $26. That's $10 a night, and there's like $6 fee just for the permit itself. So not too bad. Going to go down in the canyon, but you got to have one of these. You can't set up. I mean, if it's a life or death situation, you could stop for a while, and you could probably find a ranger down there and you can get help. But if you're planning to backpack down there, you got to have a permit. So another thing you want to keep an eye on is weather. The weather in the canyon is a lot different than the weather up on the rim. Whether you're on the north rim or the south rim, the weather's going to be different. So even though the backcountry office is closed to visitors, they are still open. And every day they post weather for the rim and for Phantom Ranch to let you know exactly what to expect while you're down there. I stopped down there this morning just to check the weather for the 3 days I'll be down there. And it's going to be winter up here, highs in the 40s, lows in the teens. But down in the canyon, it's going to be highs in the 60s and lows in the upper 30s. So you want to make sure you pay attention to that. In the summer, those temperatures in the canyon go way, way, way up, hundreds, 110, and it's desert down there. So, well, it's like high desert down there. There are trees, there's water available, but it's really hot. So you got to pay attention to what the weather's going to be like while you're down there and be prepared for it. So another thing you want to pay attention to is this, water. You might think you're going down to the Grand Canyon and you've got access to the Colorado River. And for most camping trips, you got a river source, water source, you're in good shape. Not necessarily the case down in the canyon. At the backcountry office, they do have a chart that shows you what water is on and what water is off at any given time. Since it's the winter and it's kind of their slow season, not a lot of the water is on down in the canyon. There's a 1.5 mile rest house, a 3 mile rest house, a river rest house, and then you've got Indian Garden and Bright Angel Campground and Phantom Ranch, which are Bright Angel Campground and Phantom Ranch are right by each other. The only water that's on right now is at Indian Garden and at the Phantom Ranch Bright Angel area. I saw it down there. I don't remember which one it is. I'll put the picture up of the sign I took. And then off there's a spur trail that takes you out to the plateau overlook, and there's no water on there. So there's only 2 spots for water. And the reason why the Colorado empty water bottle expanding because it's getting more, the sun's beating down on this place. The reason why the Colorado isn't necessarily a good source of water is you got to figure any rain, any runoff, anything like that from the canyon is going to go into the river. It churns up a lot of sediment. Sometimes the river is nice and clear and it almost looks blue-green, and then sometimes it's just brown because there's so much sediment in there. And you got a lot of sandstone, a lot of sand just around. It gets in there, and if you're using just a filter, it's going to clog that filter up pretty quick. So if you've got something that you can backwash, you can do that. But a lot of people they'll get just a cup, and they'll scoop it up and they'll let it settle, and they'll kind of pre-strain it, and then they'll filter it. But I'm just going to use the water that's available at the campground areas, and I should be okay. In an emergency, I can use the Colorado, but I have to let that water sit, let the sediment drain out before I even think about filtering it. So that's what you got to think about before you even get on the trail. So let's look at the gear I have and what I'm taking with me, and I'll explain to you why I'm making some of the decisions that I am making. Now that I've got my permit and I know where I'm going, I got to put everything in a pack, right? So I'm kind of limited because this is not where I live. I'm 2,400 miles from home. So I've got what I've got. I'll show you that in a second. But what I'm taking down, obviously, is going to be the only pack I have for backpacking is my Osprey Atmos 65. A little bit of overkill. Way bigger than I need. But this was easy to store on the train. That's why I brought this pack. It fit everything I need to get out here, and I could store it on the train as a carry-on. So this is what I'm going to bring down. I'm not going to use this the whole time I'm down there though, because if I'm at camp, I'm going to be at the same camp 2 nights in a row. I don't need to be walking around with a partially filled 65-liter bag. So that brings me back to what I said in my hands, which is my small Daypack. This is my it's the Hemlock Mountain Outdoors custom bag that I made for myself, and I made one other one. And it folds down. I can put this right in the hydration sleeve of the bag, fold it right down, pop it in there. Doesn't take up much space. And then when I get to camp and I'm going to do my day hiking, I just load this up with my food, maybe my puffy jacket, water, stuff I'm going to need, first aid, all that stuff. And then I've got a day pack. I don't have to carry around the big pack when I'm down in the canyon just exploring. So it's going to save a little bit of fatigue on me being able to take a smaller pack during the day. So what I'm going to take water-wise is I'm going to take my Nalgene, and I'm going to take 2 smart water bottles with me. Now, it seems like a lot to take, but I want to make sure I have enough for cooking and for drinking and everything like that. And with the limited amount of water that I'm going to have, or access to water, this will give me 3 liters, and I don't have to worry about stopping for drink breaks or anything like that. I can just drink, and stay hydrated. So that's what I'm taking for that. So I'm also going to take my Knorr Vecto. This is 32 ounces, so I can store water in this while I'm at camp, and again, have plenty of water. And I will take my Sawyer Micro, this one, my new one. This is a great filter. I know a lot of people have been having problems with this. I've had no issues with it whatsoever. Love this thing. So that's going to go with me. So for my cook kit, I'm going to take my Toaks 500 millimeter titanium pot. I'm going to take my alcohol stove. This is just a Fancy Feast stove. I've redone this. The original one that I had, that Rocco made for me a few years ago, the liner can finally gave out. So I just got some more. Actually, Rocco had some extra carbon felt. I got a new can. I just redid the inside, and it is working like a charm. So that goes inside of my Tokes pot, which goes inside of this. And then that's just an aluminum foil windscreen. And for fuel, I'll be using my Vargo bottle. This I've got a love-hate relationship with. Some trips, this thing leaks like a sieve. Other trips, it's fine. The past couple of weeks, this hasn't leaked at all. So I don't know if it's the fuel I'm using or if it was... I put a rubber band around the threads at the bottom because I heard that was a problem. There's no gasket in these. And I put a different rubber band on there, and I'm using a slightly different fuel. I'm still using the Kleen strip. I'm using... I can show you. This is what I'm using. The Kleen strip denatured alcohol fuel. The other stuff I had was clean burning. It had like a green label on there. And I don't know, like this says clean burning too. I don't know. It's the same manufacturer, slightly different label. But I haven't had any problem with that leaking. So I'm going to take that down. And then for cooking, actual cooking, I'm just going to use my handy dandy Reflectix pouch. I've got my Human Gear Duo spork. This thing is awesome. It slides apart. You got separate utensils, or if you're eating out of a bag like I do, they snap back together like that, and you got a long-handled spoon or fork. And then, of course, for coffee, I'm going to take my GSI coffee rocket. This GSI makes these. So GSI coffee rocket. It's just got a little basket in there, like a Keurig. You fill it up with coffee grounds, pop it together, kick the little legs out so it sits on your cup, fill it up with hot water. It drips through. You got a nice, fresh, brewed cup of coffee at camp. It takes up a little space. It's relatively light, but if you like coffee on a trail, this is the thing to have. I love this thing. And then this is all I'm taking for coffee and such. I just have this like an old spice jar, like a spice container shaker, plastic one. I fill up with coffee, and then I got a little bit of sugar in the raw in here, and this in the little red tube here, and then a couple instant teas. So in case I want something hot with dinner, I can have those. Look at this sprawl of food. Oh my God. So this is everything I'm taking for my food and snacks. I'm not taking this. These are, I'm just going to show what they are. So I got these just little fajita tortillas, and I'm going to, I took 6 of them, and I've got 3 of these portable protein packs, the P3s. I'm going to split these down, actually take them out of this container and put them into Ziploc bags individually. And then that'll be my lunches. So 2 tortillas for one of those for lunch. For dinner, I'm going to do variations of the Knorr's rice sides with chicken creations mixed in. For breakfast, I'm going to do oatmeal. This is 1 oatmeal, and then I'm going to put a, got these little packs of Musselman's applesauce, and I'll mix one of those in there for one morning. And this one is got oatmeal and blueberries. It's got dehydrated blueberries. Obviously, I won't take that. So that's going to be my breakfasts. And then for snacks, I got this trail mix, this great value. I don't like shopping at Walmart usually, but it's really the cheapest option around here. So I got this big bag of trail mix, and I'm just going to put it into a slightly more backpacker-friendly bag here. There's a ton of it here, but I want to make sure I got plenty of snacks, stuff to eat. Nutrition, staying fed is going to be really important for this trip. So that's all my meals. And I'm gonna take just a ramen and like a Cheetos bag here, just for some snacks, just in case I get a little hungry on the way back up. I'll have some extra food. And then in this bag here, I've got a bunch of Clif bars. So I am not taking any chances with being short on food on this trip. I'm gonna have lots to eat. Next up is my shelter. So I'm gonna use similar to what I used on the Arizona trail on Christmas Eve. This is the tarp tent mow trail that Adam Z let me borrow. So that's the whole tent. There's 2 poles here. One goes across the entranceway to make it a little more sturdy, and then the second one goes into the back of the pitch, towards the back side of the tent to hold it up. And then the front, you just use trekking poles. So I'm going to use 1 trekking pole this time because I'm going to take one with me when I'm hiking. So these are multi-purpose. Then there's these are tent stakes that go with the tent. There's 4 of them. And then I've got some cordage and some extra tent stakes here, just in case it gets windy, something pops out, I lose one, or I want to set it up a different way. I got plenty of options here, and that's all pretty light. I'm not too concerned about the weight on that. For my sleeping pad, I'm taking my Sleep and Go. This is one I just got a couple weeks ago. Actually maybe a month and a half ago. This has been working really well. It held up well when I was on the Christmas Eve hike. So I'm going to take that, and then just in case I set that up on something that's a little suspicious and I put a hole in it, I've got my Climate X-Frame. This is super light and small. I'm going to take that just as a backup. Actually, I'm not going to take, this is the sleeping pad cover. I'm not going to need that. I'm going to take my emergency blanket just in case. You never know. Temperatures are going to drop. They say you're going to be high 40s or high 30s, but you never know. So that's going to go. My Teton Sports inflatable pillow, because sleeping on the ground, have to have a pillow. And then this is my 10-degree top quilt. I'm not going to take the 50 degree with me because it's going to be warm enough. Just going to be the 30 degree, and that's going to be my entire sleep system. For the remainder of my gear, it's going to be really simple. I'm going to take my knife. This is my Mora knife companion. I've got my rain cover for my backpack, just in case. And then also my rain jacket. My rain jacket I got here, again, just in case. I've got my little first aid kit. In here I've got compressed toilet paper. I've got some hand sanitizer. I've got various bandages, ointments, things like that. There's also a couple Advil in here, and maybe a couple decongestants, this stuff I carry with me just in case. So I've got all that. In my Possibles pouch here, I have fire starting stuff. Now you can't have a fire down in the canyon, I don't think, so it's not as important to have this, but in an emergency situation, if you gotta stay warm, you gotta stay warm. I've got my hand warmers in here that I can take in the winter just in case. I've got my waterproof matches. I've got my ferro rod and striker. I've got my bellows. Again, not gonna have a fire down there, I don't think, but you never know. I've also got my spare carabiner. This is not weight bearing, but it is good for holding gear. But it's also got a flint and, well, a tick key. I don't think there's a lot of ticks in the down at the bottom of the canyon, but you never know. And then there's just a couple of these little, every time I refill my matches, they come with a striker. I always have a couple spare strikers in there, just in case, because you never know. And then, as far as gear like that, the last thing I'll have is, it won't be in this, but this is the Phoenix HM50R headlamp. When I was leaving my house back in PA, I charged my headlamp and I left it there. so I don't have a headlamp. Just for around here, I've been borrowing a flashlight from Todd, and this weekend went out and he bought some outdoor gear because he wants to start hiking and camping. So he bought a headlamp and he said, here, just take this and use it. And so I'll get it out of the package here before I go, charge it up, make sure that's all working. So that should be all I need. And this is this actually comes out of the head strap, and you can use it as a little flashlight too. So that comes in handy. So that's all I got for just extra gear. I'm not taking a whole lot of stuff with me. As far as electronics, I'm recording on my phone, and the small tripod I use for my phone is actually like a telescoping tripod, and it has the remote control here, so I can control it. I use that mainly for astrophotography because my GoPro pole doesn't hold a phone. That's really light. It actually comes in handy if I fill up the GoPro SD cards, then I can use the phone. But I'm planning on trying to get some astrophotography from down there, so I don't mind taking that whole setup. But the phone I'm going to have anyway. I will be shooting most of it on my GoPro Hero 8. This is the New Bear New Grip. All right, this is a telescoping. Sure it is. Is it all the way? That's all the way. Telescoping extension pole, and it's also a tripod. And there's something around there. There's probably sand or dirt or something in there. I'll have to get that out. But I've been using this for months now. This works really well. It's very sturdy. The whole thing is made out of metal. Even the GoPro mount in here is metal. See, that thread just goes right through a nut that is welded or formed right into that metal GoPro mount. So this thing isn't going to break. So I'm going to have that. I'm going to have an extra SD card that Todd let me borrow. It's very nice of him. I'm going to have 2 extra GoPro batteries. So the 2 that I normally carry, plus 2 extras, so I don't have to keep on charging things up. Again, these are loaners from Todd. And then my battery bank. So this is my Anker PowerCore 20,100, I think it's called. It charges for days and days, and I'll have a couple charging cables, one for my phone and GoPro, one for the headlamp, and then one for my watch. The other one's for my watch, because I will be tracking what I'm doing. So 3 charging cables. They don't take up much weight or space. I just roll them up and put them right in the little carrying bag that the charger comes in. So that's all I'm taking for electronics. Last but not least, clothes. So, well, this isn't really a clothes item, but it's over in this pile. This is my pack towel. So it's good to have a towel with you. I'm going to take, well, these are brand new for me. I just picked these up yesterday. I love my wool socks, but I hear people rave about the Darn Toughs, and they're guaranteed for life. So I got a set of Darn Toughs because if I'm going to be hiking around a lot, I want my feet to be as comfortable as possible. And Dragon's been telling me how he's been wearing Darn Toughs and he hasn't had a blister on his feet since. So I'm going to take those. I got my sleeping socks. Don't hike in these. Super uncomfortable hiking these. These are like a fake polyester wool. I don't know what they're made out of, but they keep my feet warm when I'm sleeping. I'll take an extra pair of socks to stay dry, have nice dry feet. A face mask. That's what I'm going to put my clothes in. I will be wearing my 5-on-1 tactical pants. My gray ones are all beat up and permanently smell funny. These are my backpacking pants. They're super tough. They got holes burned in them, but they're comfortable. They're great for hiking pants, and yeah, I just like those pants. They're Teflon coated too, so a lot of stains and stuff stay at them. You don't need to see the underwear, but obviously I'm going to take an extra pair of underwear. I'm going to have my base layer pants. I'm not going to wear those. I might wind up sleeping in these just for comfort, but it's going to be really warm. It's going to be cold here. When I leave in the morning, it's going to probably be about 15 that you're calling for. I'm going to leave like 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. It takes me 15 minutes to walk to the trailhead from here. So by the time I get over there, I'll be already warmed up. And then going down the trail, the lower I go, the warmer it's going to get. And it's going to be in the 60s down there by the time I get down there. Or it might be in the 50s by the time I get down there. But I'm not going to need the base layer pants. But again, just in case, if the temperatures drop more than they think, I'll have a base layer pant. Again, for if temperatures drop more than they think, This is my, it's like a winter face mask. I made this right before I left. It's kind of a stretchy cotton polyester spandex thing on the outside, and then I lined it with very festive flannel on the inside. I can cinch it down, and when I'm sleeping, it just helps keep all your heat in around your neck, and then keeps your face, got a hat on, whatever. And if it's chilly in the morning, I'll throw this on because I don't have to wear a jacket sometimes when I'm wearing this, because it just helps keep in enough body heat. So I'll take that, and it acts as a backup mask. I'm going to take my sealskins again, just in case. Comfortable feet, comfortable feet, comfortable feet. So if you can keep your feet dry and comfortable, you're going to have a much more pleasant experience. And then, well, my hat is just my OR. Oh, I don't even remember what this is called. I've had this for years, this hat. And it's a little faded, and the tag on the inside is all kind of worn out and worn off. But this hat has been a trooper. It's still, there's not a stitch out of place on this hat. Love this hat. Outdoor Research. They're a little more expensive, but they are very, very much worth it because they are rugged hats. And then these are just my lightweight craft gloves. So these are like a biker's glove. They've got really good grip on them. Like the whole palm has got a rubberized grip. Kind of Spider-Man-y. You can kind of stick the thing. Is that a word? Spider-Man-y? Spider-Man-ish. But again, it's not going to be real cold down there. It might be cold when I'm hiking in. And depending on what time I get back up top, it might be cold. But these are generally enough. If I've got body heat build up, these will be enough, especially if it's going to be in the 30s. And even below, as long as I'm moving, these will be good. And then other than that, I'm just going to take my puffy jacket, which I've got hanging up over here. But you've seen it. So my puffy jacket, I can probably start out with that. And then either that or maybe just my hoodie. So I'll have my puffy jacket, my hoodie with me. And that's it for clothes. That's actually more than I usually take. But because I'm going to be at the bottom of the Grand Canyon, I don't want to take any chances. A lot of socks. A lot of socks. Next is my Climate X frame. That is a just in case, and my emergency blanket. So on the inside, I've already put my Daypack inside the bladder sleeve. Next thing I'll do is the poles for the tarp tent, so that they squish that down, tuck it in there. Might put those in the front bag here. At least those ones, the front pouch. This bigger one, I'll put right inside. My water collection, my Sawyer, and my Knorr bag always go in one of my front zipper pouches. And my stove fuel, I always put inside a Ziploc bag, just in case. Make sure it's good and secure. Everything's closed on it, and I always make sure it's right side up, and I put it in the opposite side front pack of my water. So it's water's one side, fire's the other. Mesh pouch to put the stove in. I can put that right inside the pot. My windscreen goes right inside the pot. Put the lid on. That'll go right inside the stuff sack for that, and that comes with the toques. And this I'll cram in wherever there's space. Next up, my Reflectix pouch. I usually put that in the back pouch for the hydro pack. But since the backpack's going to be in there, I'm just going to put this in somewhere where it stays relatively flat. If this gets a little crinkled, it doesn't really matter. So my pack towel, I just clip onto one of my zipper pulls. So here's my food bag. Weighs a few pounds. On the bright side though, this will be a lot lighter and smaller on the way back up than on the way down, which is going to save a lot of energy coming up. And then that, I'll just throw on top. That's all going to go in the main compartment. Nice thing about the Osprey is it has this center strap inside. It kind of acts as a stabilizer and it helps compress the bag. You just bring it over everything, cinch it down as best you can. Now, just to be safe, that applesauce, the little thing of applesauce, I put that inside a Ziploc bag just in case when I cinch it down, it doesn't explode. It stays inside the bag. All right, so I got that. Then you close, or you cinch down the outer portion of it. I'm gonna zip up the outer pockets. I should say the front pockets. Or maybe the back pockets, depending on which way you're looking at. I'll bring the lid, or the brain, depending on what you decide to call it. And I will bring that in. I'll snap it closed. I will put my rain jacket in there. My first aid, I usually put right in one of my belt pockets. And then my fire starting kit, a lot of times I'll throw that inside. But I'm going to throw that in the brain as well. And then that and my batteries will go right in here as well. Get my snacks. So one of my Clif bars is going to go, actually I'll take two of my Clif bars and I'll put them right in my other hip belt pocket that I have. So my snacks will go up top so they are handy. I'll cinch all these down, and everything else will be gear that I wear. So I'm gonna wear my puffy, my hoodie, because it's gonna be cold when I leave. I'll throw on my mask. I'll throw my thermal mask, or my lined mask in that stretch pocket. So my normal face mask, my puffy, my hoodie, and whatever else I have for clothes will go on me. My Nalgene, one of the smart water bottles will go in the side pouches, and then the third smart water will go right over my, with my dragon snare just hanging from the side. That way I've got all that there. My poles will be in my hands, and my GoPro will be in my pocket. So the only thing I have left to pack is the headlamp, and that's charging. So that'll just go in the top pouch. Other than that, it's all set. Hope you guys like this. Gear videos are kind of weird because not everybody carries the same gear, obviously. But just give you an idea of how I'm prepping for this trip. Trying to stay as light as possible, trying to stay as compact as possible, and with as much food and water as I'll need, because going down probably won't be real strenuous. Coming up, that's going to be tough. So hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit that thumbs up. Leave a comment. How do you pack? What would you do differently? And I'll see you next.